All right, welcome back to the channel. It's your boy Fanon, and in this video, we are going to be in the 147-pound division where Terence Crawford has been called out by Jaron Boots Ennis, who gives him some news about what he's willing to do to get the fight. Let's talk about that in this video. Right, welcome back to the channel. It's your boy Fanon, and in this video, we are going to be in the 147-pound division where Jaron Boots Ennis, who will be fighting on January 7th on the undercard of Gervonta Tank Davis versus Hector Garcia, has been very clear that he is willing to go to BLK Prime to fight Terence Crawford. And I think that is some pretty big news. Let's talk about that. Before I do, though, let me welcome back everybody to the channel. If you are a longtime subscriber and supporter of the channel, thank you so much for your support. Again, I'm going to dedicate this second video in a day to my guy Kamal Oz, big time supporter in the live streams that we have. Thank you so much for your ongoing support. Also, and I'm doing that because I want to make sure you hear it, brother. You said you didn't hear the first one, so I've done 3 now. Thank you so much for your continued support. And thank you to everybody that supports in the super chats and in the cash apps of the live streams. It really does and is a key reason that we're able to continue to do this channel. And thank you to the growing number of people that are supporting the channel in the super thanks, which is the $ with a little heart in the middle of it. And it is a new way to support YouTube content creators and to continue to do the type of content that you like to do, that you guys enjoy. So if not me, somebody else, I appreciate anybody that continues to support YouTube content creators. But let's get into this. Jaron Ennis gave an interview to Fight Hype. Very good interview. If you're not familiar with Jaron Ennis, let me just do a little short introduction of him. You need to know who this kid is, or young man is, excuse me. He's one of the best fighters in the world, in my opinion, one of the most talented fighters in the world right now. He is a 147-pound fighter out of Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, who is in the top 4 of every major sanctioning body for the moment. He will be fighting for the IBF interim title against Kareem. I'm not going to try to kill a guy's name, but a Ukrainian fighter coming to I think he may become from the United States for maybe the first or second time. But he's going to be fighting Jaron Ennis on the undercard of the Gervonta Davis fight against Hector Garcia. And absolutely spectacular fighter. He is, if he wins the fight that he has, he will be, they say, the mandatory for Errol Spence Jr. In the IBF. However, when he was asked about what he would be willing to do to get a fight with Terence Crawford, if he had to wait on the Errol Spence Jr. fight, he said that he would go to any network in order to get that fight, right? That he is with Showtime. However, if Terence Crawford, if he had a shot for the WBO belt against Terence Crawford, he would take that right away and would go to BLK Prime or go over to their network to go and take that man's belt. And I'm telling you, man, that is something that I personally would like to see. I'm not necessarily talking about like to see him fight on one network versus another network, although I will tell you, man, it's not good when you hear that a network who just got into boxing, any way that you hear it, right? Just hear it. Could be true, could not be true. Actually did not pay their bills. Now you hear a lot of people talking about the PBC going broke and how they're not doing this and they're not doing this, but you don't really hear about them not paying vendors or telling vendors that they have to pay them later. And again, I do not know the extent of it with BLK Prime or if that's actually the case, but a little bit of a bad sign there. However, as far as Jaron Ennis and his willingness to go over there, man, I applaud that 100 miles an hour. And I've been telling people, and I still maintain this, man, that Jaron Ennis is a very, very big threat for both Errol Spence Jr. and Terence Crawford. But for me, specifically, I think he is a bigger threat for Terence Crawford than he is for Errol Spence Jr. I will actually say that I think Jaron Ennis will beat Terence Crawford. Errol Spence Jr., because of the pressure style that Errol has, I would say, man, that's a lot closer fight. And, that is something where Jaron is going to have to go after Errol, and that could be a bit of a war. And you don't know when you have a younger fighter versus a more seasoned fighter who has experience on that big stage. You don't know how all of that always plays out. However, Terence Crawford is somebody that starts a lot more slowly. He is somebody that is, that is significantly older than Jaron Ennis. And also, I think most everything that Terence Crawford has, I think Jaron Ennis has more of. He's a faster fighter. He hits harder. He hits as hard or harder than Terence Crawford does. He also switches stances, gives you different looks. He is very, very defensively responsible. I do not believe that if Terence Crawford is taking the kind of shots that he took against David Abanesian against Jaron Ennis, that could spell a lot of trouble for him. And I certainly hope that fight takes place. Now, there was an option where since we know that Virgil Ortiz will be fighting Amanda Stanionis for the WBA regular title. We do know for sure that Virgil Ortiz will be leaving the rankings of the WBO, and that would have put Jaron Ennis at the number one position, and then had him be in position to be the mandatory for Terence Crawford. However, Jake Donovan of Boxing Scene, and this is what he said, I don't know this to be true, but a very reputable guy, so I have no reason to believe that he would be wrong or that he has some reason to make it up. That if Jaron becomes the interim titleist at 100 for the for the IBF, that would remove him from the rankings of the WBC, the WBA, and the WBO, which would put him out of position to become the mandatory for Terence Crawford. And therefore, the mandatory for Terence Crawford, if the shenanigans that Eddie Hearn and these guys are trying to pull off come to fruition, Conor Benn, I do believe Conor Benn is the guy that would be the number one contender for the spot against Terence Crawford, right? So, it doesn't seem like if Jaron fights for the interim title, which he is doing, it seems like Terence Crawford will not have a hard matchup in his life. You know what I'm saying? Like, it doesn't seem foreseeable that any tough fighters or anybody in that WBO ranking is going to be a difficult fight for him. And that's just an unfortunate situation. But if Terence Crawford is willing to do it on a voluntary situation, man, would love to see it happen. And I'm sure that they would be able to work out that money at BLK Prime a lot easier than they would trying to get an Errol Spence Jr. fight, which you got to know is just not going to happen over there. But anyway, that's my take on the matter. You let me know what you think in the comment section. And with that, I'm out. Peace.